goals, that I wanted to achieve with the purses. Like, it had to be big enough to hold a bunch of stuff, but also look, nice. So, we went to the mall and we browsed around, and honestly, my wife picked out the first purse, honestly. Like, I just basically said you should probably get a bigger purse than one that can just hold a wallet and a phone. And, I kind of let her look all over the place and, hinted that, we can get the more expensive purses. We can look at those, And when we looked at the more expensive purses, you could actually get them at like 50-65% off. So I was like, oh my god, these more expensive purses literally cost as much as the cheap purses, because they're, a lot of them, based on their color especially, discounted them more than 50% off. So like, you might as well buy the more expensive purses at a huge discount than just buying the cheap purses, So that's what we did. And then we realized, I agreed that the purse is pretty big. It's like 11 inches wide. So we ended up getting a 9-inch wide purse. If you haven't noticed, now I'm looking at performance specifications for purses. Kind of like when I was looking at cameras and microphones. Instead of just looking at the pictures, if it doesn't meet certain criteria, maybe it's too big or something, then it'll be disqualified as not an option. So, again, I was really disappointed by a lot of the different purses. We went to Neiman Marcus, like I said, so we got to see some of the more expensive, like Louis Vuitton, and I'm having a hard time remembering all the brands, but I've literally looked at a lot of those purses from all these different brands. Literally, like we were talking about the whole day, and I'm still having problems remembering the brand names. But, I wasn't really impressed with a lot of it. And I noticed a lot of knockoffs exist. There's like these companies that they don't use real leather, they use synthetic materials to make purses that are being sold for $2,000. Literally, you can buy them for like $50. They look very, 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 very similar. They're just using different materials, and they're not made by these boutique luxury brands. They're just knockoffs. And, the more that I looked at them, like I started looking at Y2K, early purses around the year 2000. It was called like the Mick Bling era. It was like, everybody says it's like right before 9/11, when, technology was getting new, like it was all, done by celebrities, and, everybody was very happy, And then, these days, it seems like everything is more minimalist. So I was kind of looking at a lot of YouTube videos of older women, in their 30s and stuff, talking about the Mick Bling era, talking about the styles and showing off their early Y2K purses and stuff like that. And I noticed that a lot of those designs still exist when you look at like Coach purses and stuff, but it's a lot more simplified, a lot more toned down. Like they used to have like all of this stuff going on the purses. Like they weren't so minimalist, they had like these big belts and these, metal, what are they called? I literally, just stuff all over them, and a very, people would say, like, I guess it's for like exciting, younger, immature people, I guess. But, they were a lot more interesting. So you can actually buy a lot of those purses on like eBay and all these other websites where you can actually buy these vintage early 2000 purses. And a lot of, like, when you look up like the McBling, there's like, that Juicy brand, and there's, like all these, again, there's like over a dozen brands of purses and stuff I was rummaging through. I just cannot remember all the names for the life of me. I have a bad memory. Okay, I have a bad memory. I can't remember, the names of things, especially. I can remember what things look like. I can, stuff like that. But like when you want me to remember, 50 different brands of purses, you're going to have to give me more than, a couple of days to remember this shit. But, I have to say it's interesting to look at the multi-$1,000 purses and see how it kind of trickles down into the more budget purses, and they're trying to copy, or and when you look at those more expensive purses, they're usually very extravagant and weird, and then when you get to the more mainstream stuff, it looks more like what a typical normal, boring woman would wear. But they have these extravagant ones for like these party women and stuff as well. So yeah, I've been studying fashion and purse designs the past few days, and kind of, I was getting really nostalgic for those Y2K purses, even though like I didn't pay attention to that stuff even back then, obviously. But that whole era, I remember it. I was pretty nostalgic about it. And so I was really liking what I was seeing when it came to like the clothes and the purses, especially compared to now. And again, like you can buy a lot of that stuff used on eBay and stuff for very, very, very cheap. But a lot of it's torn up and dilapidated. It's been over 20 years, or a little bit less, because like 2006 even, it wasn't too bad, I don't think. So I don't think it's a good idea to get a lot of that used stuff, but like I started like kind of gravitating towards these black purses, but they almost look like biker purses. They have these studs and these belt buckles and stuff all over them, and they just, they're very dark and intense. And when you look at, like, my wife typically likes the more, light colored, light pink, light brown, light colors. So I was gravitating towards these black, metallic, roughed up looking, biker, crazy looking purses, because they looked a lot like some of the Y2K purses. So I actually got caught up on some of these metallic purses, like metallic gold, metallic silver. But apparently when you put that on leather, it will erode over time, and it does look tacky and all this stuff. Sorry, I've been coughing a lot. But so I'll talk about this more, I guess, in some more videos. But yeah, it's been pretty tiring, pretty time consuming to research purses. I'm enjoying it, and since we already bought 2 purses, they're camel colored. Camel colored. It kind of makes me feel like, I wasted my money if we're still going to buy more purses. I am looking mainly at those shoulder purses where the purse is actually under the arm. And I do like satchels, so we basically have 2 satchel purses. But but yeah, I'm still, studying purses. We may get one or two more. You know, she's kind of joking that I'm going to end up buying a purse for myself, and that's the reason why I kind of backed out of like those black purses. I kind of realized I was buying a purse that I would buy that looks very. They actually have some man purses, and of course they're very black and metal and studded, and they have buckles and stuff on them. I don't know, almost like a backpack, like a fanny pack backpack thing, for men. So I kind of realized like that's what the purses were looking like that I was looking at. So I had to back out of that and realize, she likes lighter, more feminine looking things, and she's less serious and intense than me. So anyway, I think that's it for this video. It's been tiring.